Haruki Murakami's books are so polarizing, some people really love them and some people really don't. But love his books or hate them, his books are so unique and so influential. But who is Haruki Murakami and when did he start writing? Haruki Murakami is a Japanese author who writes fiction and non-fiction books. He didn't start writing until the age of 29. Before that, he was the owner of a jazz club. He was inspired to write his first novel, Hear the Wind Sing, at a baseball game. He just went home and started writing. 10 months later, he finished the book and decided to submit it to a literary contest. And guess what? He won first prize. After that, of course, he was really encouraged to pursue writing, and he wrote many more books, until he published his very famous novel, Norwegian Wood. And after that book, he became well known, and this led to more successes. Murakami writes both fiction and non-fiction books. He wrote 14 novels, with the 15th book coming later this year. His short stories were collected in 5 books, and he wrote many non-fiction books, the latest published last year about his journey as an author, and it's called Novelist as a Vocation. Kafka on the Shore is one of his most famous novels, and it was published in English in 2005. Other famous novels of his include Norwegian Wood, The Wind-Up Bird Chronicle, Hard-Boiled Wonderland and the End of the World, and 1Q84. And if you ask me to explain the plot of any of these books, I would have a really hard time. It's so hard to explain what Murakami's books are about. You think you're reading a normal book at first, but things get weird really fast. Because Murakami incorporates magical realism and supernatural elements in most of his works. As an example, in Kafka on the Shore, there's one scene that I remember where the sky starts raining fish. There's no explanation why, it just does. There are so many similar scenes in his books, and that's why his writing is so polarizing. Some people hate his books and think there is no value in them, while others, including me, enjoy the ride and go with the flow of his books wherever the story ends up. I like reading his books when I want an easy choice that I would enjoy, especially if I was in a reading slump. There are recurring themes in most of his books, such as the use of classical music as a connection between the characters through discussions that can be quite long in some books. But it shows the extensive knowledge of Murakami in classical music. Haruki Murakami is heavily influenced by Western authors, and he lived part of his life in the United States. Some Japanese critics described his work as un-Japanese, and in response, Murakami called himself the black sheep of the Japanese literary world. Some critics said that Murakami writes his books with the Western reader in mind, and that his writing does not reflect the actual lives of Japanese people and culture. Some other readers also claim that his books are sexist, and he portrays women in his books as one-dimensional characters that are mere companions to the male protagonists. Love him or hate them though, Murakami is one of the most famous Japanese authors, and his fandom is huge around the world. I'm one of his fans, and I will try to read all of his books. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like and subscribe buttons and watch my previous content. Thank you for watching and happy reading.